June the 2nd, 1944. Pas de Calais, France. Dawn drips like pale silver over the channel. From a ridge above the village of Vicente, Feldwebel Karl Brenner adjusts his binoculars and peers across the gray water toward England. The cold wind carries the smell of salt and diesel, and somewhere below, the low rumble of trucks echoes off the cliffs. He lifts the lenses. Through the morning haze, the English coast seems alive. Convoys of tanks' dark shapes moving in columns roll across open fields near Dover. Piers stretch into the sea, crowded with what look like landing craft. To Brenner, it's unmistakable. The invasion is near. He lowers the binoculars, heart hammering, and scribbles into his logbook. Heavy vehicle activity at Dover sector. Possibly armored divisions. Recommend immediate reinforcement of Calais. Moments later, a Luftwaffe reconnaissance plane rises into the mist. Its pilot, Lieutenant Otto Weiss, circles the channel and photographs the English shoreline. From above, the illusion is perfect tanks aligned in rows, aircraft parked at makeshift airstrips, radio trucks buzzing with coded transmissions. The images are flown to a Luftwaffe analysis center near Lille within hours. By afternoon, the report reaches the German High Command. To them, it confirms what Hitler already believes. The invasion will come at Calais, the narrowest point between Britain and France, the most logical choice. Inside the concrete bunkers of the 15th Army headquarters, Generaloberst Hans von Salmuth studies the reconnaissance photos. His staff officers stand around a flickering map, red pins marking Allied positions along the Kent coast. They're concentrating armor here. Salmuth says quietly, "It's clear. They'll strike directly across the channel." The officers nod. Orders are issued. Defensive readiness, maintain position. Panzers are held in reserve near Saint-Omer and Arras. Artillery is repositioned to cover the beaches of Calais. That night, the soldiers along the French coast hear the dull hum of aircraft far to the west, but no bombs fall near them. Only the sky flashes faintly over the horizon, somewhere toward Normandy. Brenner, smoking on the bunker steps, glances toward the distant glow and shrugs. "Exercise, maybe," he mutters. "The real attack will come here." In truth, the Allied deception machine Operation Fortitude South is already in motion. The tanks he saw are made of rubber, painted in olive drab and inflated by air compressors. The landing craft are wooden shells perched on scaffolds. Radio operators in English barns transmit meaningless chatter to mimic a full army on the move. But to the Germans watching through their lenses, every detail feels real. They see what they expect to see: an invasion force massing for the final blow. In Dover, the illusion breathes. Dummy landing craft bob gently in the harbor. At night, stagehands from the Royal Engineers light fires and move searchlights to simulate activity. Recorded tank engines rumble through hidden loudspeakers. It is theater on a continental scale, and the enemy, sitting across the channel, believes every word of it. Back in Calais, soldiers reinforce bunkers and dig trenches under the cool blue dawn. A coastal battery commander writes home, "We expect the invasion any day now. They are coming for Calais. I can see their ships in the distance." But those ships are canvas and plywood. The army he fears doesn't exist. In a farmhouse near Dunkirk, a Gestapo liaison intercepts a report from a trusted Abwehr source, one of their prize double agents, Garbo. His message repeats what every German general wants to hear. The main attack will come at Calais. Secondary operations may occur elsewhere to divert your attention. The intelligence is stamped high confidence and sent straight to Hitler's headquarters. For the Germans, the trap is complete. They are watching ghosts and don't yet know it. As darkness falls, Brenner listens to the sea again. The waves slap against the steel hull of his gun emplacement. He looks toward the English coast one last time before turning in for the night. The tanks are still there, black silhouettes lined up in perfect order beneath the rising moon. He doesn't know they're hollow. Tomorrow, he'll report their movement again. And across the channel, the Ghost Army will make sure he keeps seeing what he's meant to see. The stage is set. The greatest deception of the war is about to begin. January 1944, London, England. A rainstorm lashes the windows of a cramped operations room in St. James's Square. Cigarette smoke coils under the dim lights as officers from SHAEF, the Supreme Headquarters Allied Expeditionary Force, hunch over a map of Europe. Normandy, Brittany, Calais, the Netherlands, all possibilities. But the stakes are clear. If the Germans can guess where the Allies will land, the invasion will fail before the first wave hits the beach. Colonel David Strangeways, commander of Britain's 21st Army Group Deception Staff, taps a pencil against the map. We must make them see Calais, make them believe it so deeply that even when we're in Normandy, they'll still be waiting there. Across the table, an American major from the Signal Corps nods. Then we'll give them an army to believe in. The idea is radical an army that doesn't exist, an illusion so detailed that German intelligence would have no choice but to accept it as real. Thus was born the first U.S. Army Group, or Fusage, a phantom army under the nominal command of the one man the Germans feared most, General George S. Patton. Patton, temporarily sidelined after the slapping incident in Sicily, becomes the perfect decoy. To the Germans, his reputation as an aggressive, brilliant tank commander makes him the logical choice to lead any cross-channel invasion. Allied intelligence deliberately leaks his presence in southeast England, spotted inspecting troops, attending briefings, even appearing in staged photographs near Dover. But those troops, they're not soldiers at least, not in the traditional sense. In fields near Canterbury and Folkestone, hundreds of artists, engineers, sound specialists, and radio men assemble beneath strict secrecy. They call themselves the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, though among themselves they will later be known simply as the Ghost Army. Their tools aren't rifles and grenades, but air pumps, paint, and magnetized tape recorders. Private Jack Macy, a young set designer from Brooklyn, remembers his first assignment. We were told to make a Sherman tank out of rubber. It sounded insane, but we did it. You could inflate it in 20 minutes, and from a mile away it looked perfect. Soon, hundreds of such tanks dot the meadows of southern England, their outlines crisp, shadows carefully adjusted to fool aerial reconnaissance. Truck convoys made of canvas frames and plywood roll along country roads. Dummy artillery positions appear overnight, complete with fake shell craters and spent casings. Every sound, every track mark, every radio transmission is choreographed. The Ghost Army becomes a mobile theater troupe, their battlefield, an illusion spanning 150 kilometers. At dawn, loudspeakers hidden in hedgerows play the grinding roar of engines. At night, small teams drag inflated vehicles to new positions to simulate movement. Allied radio operators mimic entire divisions, transmitting false commands, supply requests, and casual chatter for German signals. Intelligence to intercept. Meanwhile, MI5 and the Double Cross network feed carefully timed reports to the Abwehr through agents like Juan Pujol Garcia, codename Garbo. His fabricated network of 27 sub-agents sends meticulously crafted messages describing troop buildups, fuel shortages, and delays, all centered around southeast England. Each layer strengthens the illusion. Each lie is wrapped in truth. In one operation, the Ghost Army erects an entire fake airfield overnight, complete with parked fighter planes, fuel depots, and tire tracks. By morning, Luftwaffe reconnaissance planes photograph it and report major RAF expansion in Kent. No one suspects the planes are fabric stretched over wooden frames. To maintain secrecy, the men are ordered never to reveal their mission even to other Allied units. They live as shadows, their work unacknowledged, their victories measured only by enemy confusion. As spring turns to summer, England hums with the sound of preparation. Real divisions, the 1st U.S. Infantry, the British 50th, the Canadian 3rd, move quietly towards southern ports under cover of darkness. But the decoys remain visible, bold, noisy, unmistakable. In pubs across Dover and Canterbury, Allied soldiers, some actors in uniform, talk loudly about the big push at Calais, ensuring that German informants will overhear. Even Patton himself plays his part, delivering fiery speeches to non-existent regiments and inspecting empty camps. It is deception elevated to art, and it works. In occupied France, German intelligence analysts compile the growing evidence, a massive army under Patton's command, poised to strike directly at Calais. High Command accepts it without question. By June 1st, 1944, the German 15th Army sits on full alert along the Pas-de-Calais coast. Thousands of men, tanks, and guns wait for an invasion that will never come. Across the Channel, in the shadows of Portsmouth and Southampton, the real invasion force prepares to sail for Normandy. The Ghost Army's masterpiece is nearly complete. The stage is set, the actors are ready, and the enemy watching from afar believes every frame of the illusion. June 3rd, 1944, southeast England. The rain has stopped. Morning mist clings to the hedgerows around Canterbury as Corporal Bill Anderson crouches behind an inflatable Sherman tank, cigarette dangling from his lip. He flicks ash into the mud and grins at the absurdity of it all, a fake army that might just win a real war. All around him, the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops are in motion. Teams drag rubber half-tracks into new formations. Signal trucks hum as operators adjust their antennas. A Jeep rolls by, its driver waving to a sergeant who's painting tire tracks across the dirt road to make the convoy look heavier than it is. From above, through the lens of a German reconnaissance camera, it looks perfect. Hundreds of vehicles, orderly rows, dust rising in the distance, an army waiting to move. In a small communications hut near Dover, a dozen Allied radio operators work in stifling heat. Their task, to simulate the chatter of entire divisions, more than 40,000 men. Using pre-written scripts and carefully timed transmissions, they create the illusion of battalions reporting fuel deliveries, ammunition shortfalls, and readiness checks. Red Fox to Bluebell. Convoy scheduled for Calais sector at 0500. Confirm supply wagons in position. The signal crackles through the ether, picked up by German listeners in occupied France. It matches known Allied codes, voice patterns, and structure. German analysts record every message, confident they're intercepting the logistical heartbeat of Patton's invasion army. In truth, it's theater of war fought on frequencies instead of front lines. Meanwhile, in Lisbon, Madrid, and Stockholm, the web tightens. Allied double agents embedded across neutral Europe deliver consistent reports confirming that Patton's 1st U.S. Army Group is ready to strike the Pas-de-Calais coast. At the center of this invisible network sits Juan Pujol Garcia Agent Garbo, the Spaniard, who single-handedly misleads the entire German high command. Working from a small flat in London under MI5 supervision, Garbo and his handler, Tomas Harris, send daily coded messages to the Abwehr in Madrid. They describe fake divisions, fictional troop morale, and even imaginary casualties. Every word is designed to be believable, but incomplete, just enough to make Berlin desperate for more. When the Abwehr requests confirmation of a major troop buildup in southeast England, Garbo replies calmly, "Yes, I can confirm. Large-scale landing craft and armor near Dover. My sub-agents report continuous activity, consistent with an imminent operation toward Calais. The Abwehr sends back payment and congratulations." Garbo is awarded the Iron Cross by the Germans even as he's decorated by the British with an MBE for the same lies. By early June, the illusion has reached its peak. To the Germans, the evidence is overwhelming. Photographs of massive vehicle concentrations near Dover, intercepted radio chatter coordinating supply lines toward Calais, agent reports confirming the presence of Patton's army. The deception is complete, an empire of shadows stretching from Whitehall to the French coast. Inside Hitler's headquarters, Wolfschanze, a situation report arrives from the Oberkommando der Wehrmacht, OKW. All intelligence indicates the main Allied assault will occur in the Calais sector. Activity near Normandy, likely diversionary. Hitler underlines it in red pencil. Calais. He orders the 15th Army to remain in place, 19 divisions, 1,200 tanks, 900 artillery pieces all locked behind the wrong stretch of coastline. June the 5th, 1944. Midnight. In a quiet barn near Folkestone, the Ghost Army prepares its final act. Technicians cue pre-recorded engine noises, the deep rumble of tanks moving, the metallic clatter of chains. Loudspeakers hidden across the countryside will broadcast the sounds throughout the night, creating the illusion of an entire armored column mobilizing toward the coast. Outside, soldiers pull tarps over the inflatable Shermans, checking their ropes. Wind gusts off the channel, carrying the smell of rain and seaweed. At SPO 200, a message flashes through Allied command. Operation Overlord proceed. The real invasion fleet begins to move out of Portsmouth, 150 miles to the west. But across the channel, German radar and radio stations focus on the wrong coast. Static bursts echo through their headsets. Recon reports show heavy movement near Dover. Luftwaffe analysts mark the coordinates. Patton's divisions are preparing to cross. In bunkers along Calais, German officers pace under red light. Searchlights sweep the horizon. Gunners stand by their artillery, eyes on the waves. Nothing comes. Hours later, the first Allied troops storm ashore, not at Calais, but in Normandy. Back in England, Anderson and his team deflate their tanks, laughing quietly as dawn breaks. None of them know what's happening across the channel yet. All they know is that they've done their job, they've made the enemy see ghosts. As they pack up their rubber army, one of them murmurs, "If it works, no one will ever know we were here." He's right. For decades, few will. But that night, the great deception holds. The Germans believe the invasion at Normandy is only a feint. The real strike, they think, will come at Calais. So they wait. And while they wait, the Allies land, fight, and bleed their way into France. June 6, 1944, 4:15 a.m., Normandy coast. The horizon flickers. Lightning, no artillery. The sea boils under 1,000 explosions as Allied battleships open fire on Hitler's Atlantic Wall. The air trembles with the thunder of naval guns. Warspite, Texas, Arkansas, and Rodney their shells, screaming inland toward the beaches codenamed Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Sword. The largest armada in human history, over 5,000 ships, stretches across the channel, unseen by the German divisions sitting idle 100 miles away in Calais. In a damp bunker near Calais, Feldwebel Karl Brenner jolts awake to the sound of telephones ringing. He stumbles toward the communications desk, rubbing his eyes. A staff officer shouts over the noise. "Reports from Normandy. Enemy landings, possibly airborne units." Brenner frowns. Normandy? That's too far west. It must be a diversion. The officer nods, reassured by his own words. Yes, of course. The main invasion will still come here. It has to. Across northern France, confusion ripples through the German command structure. Telephone lines crackle with contradictory orders. Luftwaffe reconnaissance planes are grounded by weather. And every piece of Allied deception, every ghost tank, every fake transmission reinforces one deadly assumption. Normandy is a trick. 06:30 a.m. Omaha Beach. The first wave of U.S. troops from the 1st and 29th Infantry Divisions slams into the surf. German MG-42s scythe through the landing craft ramps. Men tumble into the waves, the water turning crimson around them. Explosions churn the sand. Lieutenant John Spaulding, clinging to a steel obstacle, yells to his radio man, "Get the damn message through. Tell them the beach is a slaughterhouse." But the radios jam. Smoke rolls across the water. Commanders offshore can see only flashes and fire. And in Calais, 180 miles away, German armor still waits. EO8, Lahn. AM, Hitler's headquarters, Wolfschanze. An aide bursts into the Führer's briefing room. "Mein Führer, the Allies have landed at Normandy." Hitler barely looks up from his map. "It's a feint," he snaps. "The main landing will be at Calais. Keep the Panzers in reserve." His staff exchange nervous glances. Field Marshal Rundstedt, the Western Front commander, hesitates before speaking. But my Führer, the scale Hitler cuts him off. "At Calais. You will see, they are trying to lure us. The order stands." Throughout the day, German reinforcements near Calais remain frozen. The powerful 15th Army 19 divisions, including several Panzer and SS units, stays in defensive posture. Even after multiple reports confirm massive landings in Normandy, Berlin insists they are diversions to draw forces away from the real invasion zone. The deception works too well. Meanwhile, Normandy burns. British gliders crash in hedgerows. Canadian infantry push inland through minefields. U.S. paratroopers from the 101st and 82nd fight desperately to seize bridges at Sainte-Mère-Église. The sky is filled with the thunder of C-47 Dakotas, the hum of Typhoon fighter bombers, and the cries of men shouting orders through chaos. By midday, over 150,000 Allied soldiers are ashore. Yet they remain vulnerable, outnumbered, under constant fire, with no armored divisions to support them. General Eisenhower's headquarters sends an urgent message to London. German armor not yet engaged. Fortitude appears successful. Continue transmissions. And so, the Ghost Army keeps talking. Radio operators in Kent and Sussex maintain their relentless chatter references to fake divisions, phantom convoys, and Patton's plans for Calais. The deception doesn't rest, it evolves. To the Germans intercepting those messages, Normandy remains nothing more than an elaborate trick to divert their attention. June 7th, Calais sector. Rain falls softly over the bunkers as Brenner peers through his binoculars once again. The tanks on the English coast are still there, dark silhouettes against the fog. His commanding officer, Oberst Vogel, joins him on the parapet. You see, they haven't moved. Normandy is bait. When the main force crosses here, they'll strike with Patton's armor. Brenner nods, though doubt creeps into his voice. Then, why so many reports from the west? Could they all be wrong? Vogel's eyes narrow. The Führer says the main blow is yet to come. We wait. And so they wait while, far to the southwest, the Allies secure their beachheads and push inland toward Caen and Cherbourg. By June 9th, German reconnaissance finally detects something strange. The massive armor buildup in Kent seems unchanged. The vehicles haven't moved in days, but by the time the suspicion grows, it's too late. The Allied bridgehead in Normandy is secure. Reinforcements pour in at the rate of 1 division per day. In Berlin, the mood turns from confidence to confusion. Why has the attack at Calais not begun? Goebbels demands in his diary. Hitler insists the main invasion will still come there, perhaps in a few days. But no such army exists. The phantom continues to haunt them, a ghostly force holding the might of the 15th Army in place, while the real war is decided elsewhere. That night, on the cliffs of Pays de Calais, Brenner stands alone. He watches the English coast through his binoculars one last time. The fake tanks glint under the moonlight, perfect, still, unreal. For the first time, he wonders if he's been staring at a mirage. Late July 1944. Normandy, France. The countryside is burning. Fields of wheat lie flattened by tank treads and artillery fire. The once peaceful hedgerows, the bocage now echo with the rattle of machine guns and the distant rumble of Allied armor. The Battle of Normandy is no longer a gamble. It is an avalanche. German divisions retreat in disarray. Their commanders, exhausted, hollow-eyed, demand reinforcements from the 15th Army still sitting idle in Pas de Calais. But the answer from Hitler's headquarters remains the same. Hold your positions. The main invasion will come at Calais. Even as Allied tanks roll through Saint-Lô and American bombers turn Caen into rubble, OKW clings to the phantom. August 1st, 1944, Saint-Omer, France. In a dim command bunker beneath a shattered railway yard, General Hans von Salmussuf unfolds a new reconnaissance report on his desk. The Luftwaffe has finally managed to capture fresh photographs of the Kent coastline. He leans forward. The prints are grainy, the edges darkened by smoke and clouds, but one detail stops him cold. The fields near Dover are empty. No tanks, no landing craft, no trucks. Just bare earth and faint outlines where objects once stood. He flips to the next image. Another field, nothing but flattened grass and tracks leading nowhere. He checks the date, July 28th. Just 4 days ago. The general's hand trembles slightly. "Where did they go?" he mutters. His adjutant, a young captain, clears his throat. "Perhaps they moved north, sir. Preparing for a secondary assault?" Salmuth shakes his head slowly. "Or perhaps they were never there at all." He pushes back from the desk, the realization dawning like a slow, cold sunrise. The 1st U.S. Army Group, the army under Patton's command, the one he'd briefed his men about. The one every German intelligence report had confirmed might never have existed. At German Army Group B headquarters, Field Marshal Erwin Rommel's staff receives similar photographs. The Desert Fox himself, gravely wounded from an air attack, lies in a hospital bed when his adjutant brings the news. Herr Feldmarschall, our reconnaissance now indicates no significant forces remain in southeast England. Rommel closes his eyes. "So, it was all a trick," he whispers. "An entire army made of air and imagination." He laughs weakly, then winces in pain. "We were fighting ghosts." By mid-August, the truth begins to ripple through the German command structure. Reports from captured Allied soldiers, paratroopers, engineers, radio men confirm the rumors. The Ghost Army had been real, but its mission was deception, not combat. A captured British major, interrogated near Amiens, says quietly, "You were never meant to look at Normandy. We made sure you looked elsewhere." The interrogating officer stares at him in disbelief. The photographs, the radio messages. The major smiles faintly. All theater. Back in Calais, Brenner sits on the bunker steps, the same place he'd watched the ghost tanks months earlier. The channel glitters under the fading summer sun. He remembers the endless reports, the sleepless nights, the conviction that the enemy waited just across the water. Now the fields across the channel are still. No vehicles, no lights, no movement. Only the gulls wheeling in silence. His commander, Oberst Vogel, joins him, face pale and tight. "Orders just came in," Vogel says. "We're to fall back toward Belgium. The Führer finally accepts that Normandy was the main landing after all." Brenner exhales, a dry laugh escaping his throat. After all this time, he finally believes his own eyes. Vogel doesn't answer. He stares out toward England, toward the empty horizon that had fooled them all. August 15th, Berlin. In a tense briefing at the Wolfschanze, General Alfred Jodl presents the final intelligence analysis to Hitler. Charts, maps, and decoded reports fill the long wooden table. Mein Führer, it appears the so-called 1st U.S. Army Group never existed. The enemy employed large-scale deception measures, false radio networks, dummy armor, and double agents. The real invasion force embarked from the southern ports. Hitler's jaw tightens. Are you telling me we kept our best divisions sitting idle for a mirage? Jodl hesitates. Yes, my Führer. A heavy silence fills the room. Outside, the cicadas drone in the pines. Finally, Hitler mutters, "Then we have been defeated, not by strength, but by trickery." As the Allies break through Avranches and flood across France, the German lines collapse. Paris will fall within weeks. The once feared Wehrmacht retreats eastward, leaving behind the wreckage of its pride and the memory of an army that never was. In the years to come, veterans of the 15th Army will recall those strange weeks at Calais, how they waited for an invasion that never arrived, how they fired no shots, how their enemies existed only in the airwaves and photographs. One former officer will write in his diary, "We saw them. We all saw them. The tanks, the ships, the planes, they were as real as the wind. We believed because we wanted to believe. And by the time we learned the truth, France was gone. In the empty fields of Kent, the last remnants of the Ghost Army's rubber tanks lie deflated under the rain. The war moves on, but their quiet deception born from art, science, and imagination has already changed its course. The ghosts disappear, their mission complete. September 1944. Dover, England. Fog rolls in from the channel, shrouding the quiet fields that once bristled with rubber tanks and painted trucks. The wooden mock-ups of landing craft sit abandoned, their canvas peeling in the damp wind. Where once the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops staged their grand illusion, only seagulls and rusting air pumps remain. A jeep rumbles up the muddy lane. Inside sits Lieutenant Fred Fox, one of the original artists of war. He steps out, boots squelching in the soft earth, and looks over the empty meadow where his team once arranged their phantom division. He lights a cigarette and smiles faintly. "We fooled them," he murmurs. "We really did." In London, Allied Command reviews the aftermath of Operation Fortitude, now considered one of the most successful deceptions in military history. Reports show that the German 15th Army remained in the Calais region until mid-August, more than 2 months after D-Day. Those units, including elite panzer divisions, could have crushed the vulnerable Allied beachheads during the early stages of the invasion. Instead, they sat idle, waiting for Patton's Ghost Army to arrive. When General Eisenhower reads the final intelligence summary, he underlines one sentence in pencil. The enemy remained fixated on the Pas de Calais due to the continued success of deception operations. He leans back in his chair and says quietly, "That bought us Normandy." Meanwhile, the men of the Ghost Army quietly return to their lives. There are no medals, no public parades. Their existence remains secret, buried in classified files. Sound engineers go back to Hollywood studios. Painters return to advertising firms. Set designers take jobs in theater companies. They vanish into peacetime anonymity, their battlefield victories invisible to the public. Private Jack Macy, the same man who once inflated rubber Shermans under the Kent moon, later recalls, "We weren't heroes, we were tricksters. But sometimes, tricksters can save more lives than bullets." In Germany, captured documents and post-war interrogations confirm what many Allied historians already suspected. The deception at Calais was so convincing that even after the Normandy landings, Hitler refused to release armored divisions from the north for over 7 crucial weeks. German intelligence officers later admitted that the illusion of Patton's first U.S. Army group had been unassailable. It was not that we were blind, one recalled in 1946. It was that they made us see too much. Decades later, 1985, a group of aging veterans gather in Washington, D.C. at a small military reunion hall. On the projector screen behind them flicker old photographs. Smiling men beside inflatable tanks. Soldiers painting fake shadows on plywood trucks. Radio operators sitting among coiled wires. For the first time, Their unit, the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, is declassified and publicly honored. Reporters crowd the room. Colonel Ralph Ingersoll, their wartime planner, addresses the audience. We fought not with firepower, but with imagination. Every illusion we created kept real soldiers alive. That was our war. Applause fills the hall. For the men who spent the war living in lies, this is their long-delayed recognition. In the years that follow, historians piece together the story from declassified documents, the layered brilliance of Operation Fortitude, the ingenuity of the Ghost Army, and the psychological chess match that defined the summer of 1944. They discovered that the deception went beyond fake tanks and radio chatter. It was a symphony of misdirection forged letters, coded weather reports, even dummy camps visible to German spies flying overhead. Each detail was part of a masterpiece painted on the canvas of war. Today, along the coast of Pays de Calais, the old bunkers still stand. Moss covers their concrete walls. Inside, rusted rangefinders and corroded artillery shells lie silent. Local farmers plow over trenches once dug by soldiers waiting for an invasion that never came. Sometimes, when the light is right, the horizon still seems to shimmer, and one might imagine the faint outlines of tanks and landing craft across the channel. But they're not there. They never were. Only ghosts,